Hi guys, I'm Tracy. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to today's video. I have a very exciting video for you guys today, and that is going over the entire Sonia G Fusion series. Now, this was released like a little over a month ago. It sold out like I think within 15 minutes and I didn't get any. And a lot of people didn't get any, and then there was a restock. I went ahead, I got the mini base and the soft concealer. Those were the two that interest me the most, and after using those for a couple weeks, I just fell in love with them so much. I went ahead and I bought the remaining brushes with the last restock. So the other three, I'm using them today for the first time, and I'll be inserting clips of me using all of these brushes except for one, but I'll be using it shortly. So the first brush I am going to talk about is the jumbo base. So this is meant to be, you know, an all over foundation brush, but I'm going to start using it as time goes on for other things like contour and I don't know, maybe highlighter, I'm not sure. But these brushes also work really great with powders, especially those very like creamy, I'll show you, like these Suku eyeshadows, like this color and this color. They pick up the product so well. And all right, so I've been using the soft concealer to do my eyeshadow, especially with those kind of creamy powder formulas, and I really like the way it applies the shadow in such a such a beautiful way. I hope you guys can see it, but it just really holds on to the powder and applies it in a very you know, efficient yet beautiful way. I did a video a few weeks ago of me using that brush for eyeshadow. I'm not going to show it today, but I'm going to show you that brush for something else. But I just wanted to say it's not, these brushes aren't only good for creams. I mean, yes, they are meant for cream products and liquid products, but you can use them for all sorts of other mediums that you're using. So, but today I'm going to mainly show the brushes with creams and liquids. Okay, so the first brush is the jumbo base. So this is the biggest brush. It applied my foundation like just so smooth and so quick. And I use this brush for this side. I use the classic base for the other side, but it just so beautifully applied the foundation, and you know, very little blending. And what is so amazing about this shape is that it gets into these areas so well. So see how it fits perfectly between my nose and my eyes, and this area right here, this area like under the nose, under your lips, which is sometimes areas that I miss or, you know, I don't get on evenly. So it was just such a genius way of designing a brush, and I really like this. I've only used it once, but already I'm so impressed, and I can't wait to try it with other things. And then also with that same foundation, I use the classic base. So on this side of my face, I applied the same foundation. I used the NARS Naturally Radiant foundation. I used them in two colors. So I used like the lighter one in the middle. And for the middle, I use the classic base. Now, I mean, the same thing, it applied product so evenly. I will say that the jumbo base, I think, applies liquid a little heavier, and the classic base slightly lighter. So I don't know if you can really tell, but like I used the jumbo base kind of like on the perimeter, and I used the jumbo base on the perimeter, the classic base more in the middle of my face, which I really didn't have to do, but I feel like I got a little bit more coverage using the jumbo base over the classic base. But either one I think works beautifully for cream and liquid foundations, or for, in this case, liquid foundation. Okay, and then the next brush that I used today is the jumbo concealer. So this is one that I almost didn't get just because it's not a shape that I'm very familiar with, and it kind of looks like a big eye brush, but it's just amazing for concealer. So I used it for under the eyes, and I used it for this area right here. And so I would say it does apply liquid pretty heavily if you want it to. I used my Shiseido self-refreshing concealer that I use all the time. I wanted to use products that I was very familiar with and that I knew were very reliable, so that there wasn't any confusion as to what was causing the application to look the way it did. But I felt like this, if you want to get a lot of coverage under the eyes, I would say this is very good, and it's really good for areas like this or on the side of the nose because the shape is just perfect. It's it reminds me of, I can't find it, the Koyudo foundation brush. Oh, it reminds me of a tiny version of the Koyudo BP. I think this is the BP 14. Of course, the material is a little different, but the shape is almost identical. It's just much smaller. And this one is a very dense brush. So this one is, you know, it's dense, not that dense, but it's a very, very dense brush. And I think that's what contributes to the, you know, stronger, heavier application. But if you wanted to use, you know, a lighter coverage concealer, I'm sure it would put on, you know, the product much lighter. The concealer and foundation that I'm using today are full coverage, so you know that's why they came out the way they did. But I really liked how when I put the concealer on, so I did my eyes first today. Anyhow, when I do this to put the concealer on, it like just perfectly wiped away any eyeshadow that I kind of had remaining right here. So you know, sometimes I put a little bit too much and it gets like in the corner of the eye. It just really nicely kind of moved that shadow upwards. And I really love this brush. I actually like every brush in this collection, and I'm so happy that I have all of them now. Okay, and then the classic base, I used it for a foundation, which I think it did great, although I like the jumbo base better for foundation. And I also use this for my cream bronzer, and I really love the way it came out. It just like instantly blends the product in without doing much. And all of these brushes, especially this one and the mini base, they're so soft. Like when you're doing this, I have some brushes that like it kind of hurts my face to press the product in, but these I don't have that problem. They're just like the perfect firmness versus softness, and I love this. I think it will do great also with cream blush, or anything that needs to be applied in a fairly small area. But if you want something a little more specific, or if you have finer features, the mini base is also good for those things too. So, and then moving on to the mini base, I used this for my cream blush today. And I've been using this pretty much just for my cream blushes, and it's amazing. It just looks so natural, so well blended. I would say this doesn't apply product very heavily, so if you want like a really strong blush, you would have to build it up. But if you're going for like a very light makeup look, I think this is great for both bronzer, contour, and blush. And I suppose if you want, you can use this for foundation if you wanted, but I think with the size, it's just perfect for this area. And something I am gonna try going forward, I'm gonna try to do like some nose contour stuff. I have not really learned how to do that, but I can see this brush with a cream contour working really well to kind of define this area, but I gotta practice that before I show you guys. So but going forward, I'm going to try to learn how to do that. So that was the mini base, and the last one that I want to show today is the soft concealer. Okay, here it is. So this brush, like I mentioned before, I've been using it for eyeshadow, but today I want to try something new, and I hope it comes out. I think it will. None of these brushes have let me down so far. I'm gonna try using this with the Christian Dior Forever Luminizer. I've been really enjoying this, so I didn't put highlighter on today, and I am going to use this brush with this and just see how it comes out. And because I'm pretty sure I heard Michelle Wong also, this is a Baked Gelée formula, but this highlighter is amazing. I don't really have a highlighter that I love so much as this one, and I don't know if it's this color, but it just blends into my skin like so naturally. The thing I was worried about was this was gonna lift up my foundation, but let's see if it does that. So my face is a little shiny just because it's, you know, it's hot and I've been a little sweaty. You guys can see this side a little better. Okay, so yeah, this applies highlighter perfectly if you want like a little area. I don't see it being any different than using another brush. I've been using the Sonia G Detail Pro and the Soft Cheek for this highlighter, and it's been working out great. I just wanted to try this with this product and just see how it came out, and it's fine, but I would say this works better for concealer and eyeshadow. And I think the eyeshadow, this is amazing. I wanted to get another one just because of the eyeshadow and concealer, so I can have one for both, and maybe going forward I will. But I really like this little brush. It's well, it's hard to pick a favorite because I've had this one and the mini base much longer, so just because of that, I would say right now the soft concealer is my favorite. But now that I have the whole set of the newer ones that I got, of the 3 newer ones, the Jumbo Base, Classic Base, and the Jumbo Concealer, I'm just in my first impression with my first use of this, I really like this Jumbo Base. I really liked how it applied the foundation, and I really liked how it got into all these spaces. Like, there's no need for me to use another brush for my foundation. This pretty much does it all. It's big, it covers up a lot of space, and I have a lot of, you know, space on my face, but it also gets into the smaller areas really well. Better than, say, the Fupa number 2, which I've been really using mainly for foundation. It does work to get into these areas, but not as well because it's a little big here. So like if you did your eyeshadow and you did your foundation, like if you did your eyeshadow first, did your foundation after, it would be hard to get into these areas like around the eyes and on the side of the nose. But it does work great. It's just that this works better. And not that I can see, but I don't think there is any streaking at all with this brush. I think when I did my foundation with this, I did have to buff a little bit more, but with this one I didn't even buff. I just kind of like, you know, like painted the foundation on, and it went on, you know, so beautifully. So I would say, just from my short experience using these brushes, I would say these two are must-haves. and I really didn't want to have to get this because I've gotten so many foundation brushes recently, and the problem with getting another great foundation brush is that my other ones don't get used, and I believe that's probably what's going to happen. Let's say you have a good foundation or cream blush brush like this. I think you can skip the classic base. So if you have like the mini base and you don't want to spend money on another one this size, if you have to pick between these two, I'll get the mini base. This one is, I think, more unique. This size for a cream product brush is harder to find, and this one is pretty much impossible to duplicate. I don't know of any other brush that has this shape like at all, even for, oh, you know what, the one that I don't have but it reminds me of is the Pat McGrath, I think it's a concealer brush. It kind of has this slant, except it's much smaller. It's like half as wide as this. And then Fenty has one that kind of has this slant, but it's, again, it's much smaller. I think Rihanna calls it her cat paw brush. I don't think it's officially called that, but it also has this slant, but nothing I've seen on the market has this exact shape. So I think this is a must-have if you're looking to invest in the Fusion series. I think that's pretty much what I had to say for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.